half in the bag.
And that's the thing too, is like a lot of these movies, you can't really say they're bad, but there's just nothing engaging about them. They are adaptations of the material. Here's the Hulk movie. Here's the Thor movie.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have that sort of spark. And the Iron Man movies have that with Robert Downey Jr.'s character and just the way all the characters sort of play off each other and interact.
Yeah, well, I think like Thor, the Hulk, even the recent Spider-Man movie all kind of fall into the mediocre territory because they don't push the material in either direction. Iron Man takes it in a different direction. It makes the main character kind of witty, sarcastic, fun. It's got the action you want. It's got a lot of humor too, which really helps people stay engaged. But like, you could take it in that direction and it works. You take it in another direction like Dark Knight, take it serious, dark, brooding, and it works in that direction too. It's when you fall in the middle, that's when everything flatlines, like a Spider-Man or Thor. If there's anything that shouts excitement, originality, witty, it's Natalie Portman and Chris Hemsworth. Wow! What charisma. But Robert Downey Jr., a whore fucking coke addict, amazing.
What do you think Robert Downey Jr. was thinking when he was shooting scenes for the Avengers, where it's like him and Chris Hemsworth?
Well, another thing too is that Robert Downey Jr., there's almost no difference between him in real life and Tony Stark.
It seems to have developed that way. I never thought of Robert Downey Jr. as that until the first Iron Man movie, and it seems like he's sort of in real life morphed into that character.
Yeah, and that's what makes it fun too, because it just feels like him on screen.
Yeah.
It almost feels like the audience is in on the joke, and that's what makes the Iron Man movies unique. You don't feel like you're part of anything when you watch the Thor movie.
Yeah.
You just feel like you're watching a movie. So, Jay, do you think Robert Downey Jr. will return
as Iron Man? I think they would be making a huge mistake to not have him continue. They'll have to pay out the ass, I think, at this point. I don't know. I would guess he had some sort of 3-picture deal. The Avengers wasn't included. He made $100 billion for being in the Avengers. So I don't know. These movies make a shitload of money, so I can't imagine watching an Iron Man movie without him in that role.
Yeah, I'm assuming for Avengers 2 or Iron Man 4, there probably has to be some kind of renegotiation, and Robert Downey Jr. has them by the balls, as they say.
Yes.
If that's the case. I don't know the intricacies of the contracts, but I know I read that he made like $50 million in royalties from the Avengers due to some sort of loophole in the contract, and he's just laughing all the way to the bank. And he knows that he's the big draw. It's not Mark Ruffalo or Jeremy
Renner, yeah.
Fine actors, great actors, but they're not draws, you know. Scarlett Johansson, you know, is a draw.
How so? Well, speaking of the Avengers, of course, the Avengers was a huge movie, and it's all these characters. Another thing I really liked about this movie is that it was just a simple, smaller Iron Man story. There's references to the events of the Avengers, but it's not like they didn't feel like, oh, we have to top the Avengers now with this movie. They were smart enough to scale it back and just make it a story about Tony Stark.
Yeah. Another quick thing to mention too, what makes the Iron Man Tony Stark character work too, is his vulnerability. This one, they add that vulnerability in the form of his anxiety, panic attacks, him getting stressed out, and so there's always like an element like that keeps cropping up, which is an element that you cannot give to Thor,
right? The
god of thunder.
Thor is like the most boring character ever.
Yeah, we keep referencing him, but or even Arrow Man, or Black Widow. Black Widow is like, I'm the most badass secret agent ever. She shows no like humanity. The Hulk, I guess Bruce Banner's nervous he's going to turn into the Hulk, but there's not much there.
Yeah.
Iron Man he's this egomaniac, but on the inside, he's really vulnerable to stuff as well, and that gives him a duality in his character, and that's what interests me as a superhero. You have to knock that superhero down a peg in order to bring them back up at the end. It's just basic drama.
That's actually something I was worried about with this movie when I saw the early trailers, like the teasers and stuff. They made it look like it was going to be the dark chapter. The trailers were super serious, and you see everything falling apart.
Yeah.
I was like, oh no, it's going to get too dark. Like what I like about these movies is the sort of lighthearted tone of it. And it turned out to be the funniest one. Also, kudos to Shane Black for casting William Sadler as the president and Miguel Ferreira as the vice president.
Good old William Sadler. If you don't know who William Sadler is, it's Jay's favorite actor. Jay enjoyed his performance as the naked taekwondo expert in Die Hard 2. Jay's favorite scene.
I actually I have that scene as the background on my phone here, if you want to see.